Good evening and welcome to the Trisbrina Wellness Show. My name is Tristan.
I'm Sabrina.
And
Ta-da!
together we have been moving these body temples for a few decades, and we've discovered a thing or two about mobility and flexibility. In today's show, we're going to be talking about how they're related and how they're slightly different. You know, when you don't move, when you don't use your body, things can tend to break. And you all know that as we get older, bending and moving can get a lot harder.
If you don't use it, you lose it.
That's what they say. Now, as our bodies get older, one of the reasons for that is there's a loss of water in the tissues. We've got our water. We hope that you have your water, so make sure you bring water for today's training. You know, over time, the lessening of the water in the tissues causes things to become more brittle, to become stiff.
I have a demonstration.
You do, do you?
I do.
Well, do it. Bring it.
All right. A ballroom dance champion years ago gave this lecture, and I was there, and I loved that he compared our bodies to a tree, because a tree is nurturing itself.
Wait, this is not a tree. This is a twig.
It's a piece of a tree.
Okay.
See, I just broke it off just now
Because it was dead.
Yeah, but this doesn't have any water. It's all dried up.
Yes, it is.
And when things don't have water and they bend,
oh, they get brittle and break.
That's not good, right?
No, no, no.
Did you want to try it?
Thank you. We get two demos. Listen. Ooh, have you ever had that happen in your body?
No, and I don't want to.
We don't want that.
As opposed to something that is thriving, full of moisture. You can even squeeze a leaf.
Wow.
And get water out, right? So
that's so flexible.
That's right.
So pliable. So amenable. So supple. Got any other adjectives? This is what we want to be. Yeah. We want to be flexible and pliable. So how do we do that? Well, we've got a couple of secrets that we'd like to share with you. Hydration, we're going to talk about that first, because that's what's happening as we age. The tissues are losing their water level. That doesn't mean that just drinking water alone is going to take care of it, but it is really important. So let's talk about why.
Well, one reason is that the body's 70% water. Right. Which means your muscles are 70% water. So just like a tree, if it has water in it, it will yield, it will bend, it will be pliable. That's right. When things are dehydrated, they're going to tend to snap and break.
That's right.
And plus, when we're talking flexibility tends to be like an elongating and a contraction. You can't really elongate something if it's all dried out, right? As soon as you try to elongate anything that's all dried out, it's just going to break.
So this is one of the most important components of staying young and staying flexible and mobile, is that the body has the nutrients, it has the elements that it needs. Now, we also know it needs life force, it needs energy flowing through it. And one of the things that happens as you unwind tension out of the tissues, you're going to open the energy channels. But in order to really facilitate that, we want to give the body what it needs, right? So it needs water. So please drink water. And there's a couple of other reasons that this is important.
Yeah, one reason, we've talked about DOMS, delayed onset of muscle stiffness.
Or soreness.
So whether you're lifting weights or you're just doing an exercise or you're stretching, a couple days later you may feel sore. And people say, oh, I'm sore, I need to drink water. Yes, that's true. But if you were hydrated when you were exercising, so if you drink the night before you're going to get up and exercise, or drink
We're talking about drinking water.
Yes, I'm still talking about drinking water.
To be clear.
then you actually won't get as sore, because part of the reason that you're getting the intense soreness that you are was due to dehydration. And water also affects the strength of a muscle.
That's true. Did you know that most people are dehydrated? They think that they're not, but they are. You got to drink more water. It's seriously important. Okay, we're going to bring movements into today's mini training. Movements that are going to help open your body up. And we're going to talk now about the difference between mobility and flexibility. The first thing is mobility is easier than developing flexibility. Flexibility, think of it as someone stretching and really trying to lengthen tissue and lengthen range. But mobility is slow, Oftentimes, mobility is done with circles. It's very, very helpful to do circular movements. We're going to be doing some of those today. And they're also like a warm-up for your tissues. They're kind of massaging the tissues. And so if you're hydrated, you're going to get that water flowing into the tissues better. And then when tissue is locked up, or it has what's called adhesions, where the muscle tissue has sort of shortened and got like cross-stitching in it, the movements themselves kind of massage and open it back up and return the muscle, belly of the muscle. They reset it to its normal length. Yeah. When muscle is short and tight, it starts to tug the bones of, let's say, where a joint complex is, and you've got your femur bone, and then you've got, you know, the bottom of your leg, and you're pulling them in tight because the muscle tissues are so tight. You're creating compression in the joints, right? So if you free up the muscles, the joint is more free to move. So now through mobility exercises, which we'll be showing you, you're massaging those muscle tissues, you're resetting and lengthening them, you're naturally going to have more flexibility. Right. But it also, the mobility lends itself to the lengthening, which is what we'll show you.
Because the joints have synovial fluid, which is supposedly an oily type of substance, but it is mainly water also. So when we're talking about joint mobility, which a lot of times mobility to me feels very joint-like, and flexibility feels very muscular, although they're intertwined. Even for joints and arthritis and things like that, you want to stay hydrated.
Synovial fluid, we can actually produce more of that liquid-like fluid inside
and sell it.
And sell it. Yeah, we can bottle it and sell it. You're going to be able to produce your own, and you're going to buy into joint mobility and flexibility training way more because you feel better. Simply stated, as we age, if we're not using movement effectively and efficient movement, we feel old, right? When you can't bend as well, it affects things, simple things, everyday life, like, I don't know, gardening.
Tying your shoe.
Cleaning, reaching down to tie your shoe. Even walking, even sitting can be uncomfortable when the body's joints hurt, right? So I personally think that it's one of the most psychologically empowering things you can do to feel young is to open up your joints and improve your flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to show us a couple of simple things that you...
Yeah, so if you use the Googles, they say that the number one reason people say that they don't stay flexible is they don't have time. They don't have time. I don't have an hour a day to go to yoga class. And that's really not what we're talking about. We're sort of talking about every day giving your body the medicine, the movement medicine that it needs. Okay, so just here's a couple of things that you can do if you have no time at all.
Why are you so busy? Stop it.
Let's say 4 times a day. Maybe you're at a stoplight, you're watching TV, you're sitting on the toilet, whatever.
On the toilet, we can do it on the toilet.
1, do it with me. 2, you see I'm picking up my shoulders. 3.
That's pretty simple. Your dad likes this one.
Okay, that takes no time at all, and it helps a whole lot.
Yep.
Then let's say you're sitting, again, watching TV. If you're watching TV,
stop sitting so much.
Maybe just throw your arms around on the back of the couch.
I'm going to let you do that one all by yourself.
Like that.
Aww,
just do that
it's
couple
like
times.
A hug. By opening up my chest.
Opening up the chest.
Pectoral muscles and a little bit of the front of the delta and the shoulders.
Yep. So you just do that a couple times.
Oh, that actually feels really good. Makes me want to yawn. I like that.
Another one that you can do all the time. Well, not all the time. It's just you're in a chair. And this is in our Happy Healthy Back program. Just slide your arms down your legs.
Don't hit your head on the desk. Careful, you're really close.
I'm very body aware.
Where are you going?
And touch
you're
your
out of the shot.
And then come back up.
Why don't you go back there a little bit?
Why don't we both go back there?
Okay. Well, since we're both going to be co-teaching soon, how far back do you want to go?
This far.
Okay.
All right. So if I show you that one again, let me lower my chair.
I'll coach you. Not.
Right? So you're just going to drop your head and roll down.
She's dropping her head and rolling down.
And back up. Just do that a few times. Or if you can, when you need to tie your shoes, make yourself bend over and tie your shoes. So you fit flexibility and mobility into your everyday life.
Should we go back?
Or let's do the routine.
Well, let's put the chairs back. Here we come. Coming back. All right. We have next level. Next level. Okay, so that's some of the simple basic stuff. It doesn't take a long time. Just roll your shoulders, open up, reach back, expand and open up your chest. Stretch through the sternum area, right? Get your spine, roll down, roll up. That's one of my favorite moves to do in the morning before meditation, is just slide down like Sabrina showed you, roll back up, and then I like to take my arms up over my head, get a nice long spinal stretch. That opens up the info highway between the brain and the body, right? And you're breathing as you're doing these movements. Yep. Your meditations are going to be a whole heck of a lot more awake and present.
Another thing that you can do this in bed. Before you get out of bed, you can lift your legs up and roll your ankles towards each other and away from each other. You can just stick a leg up when you're sitting in a chair. Circle your ankles both ways. But what that's going to help also with your circulation. Coolio.
All right, so we're going to work on 3 simple moves. We're going to stand up and do these with you. We'd love for you to join us. And what we'd like you to notice is by doing simple joint mobility exercises first, you will be able to increase your flexibility. Let's define this one last time. You don't need to be super flexible to be a very well-functioning body, right? You can be an incredible athlete and not be super flexible if you have mobility. So mobility is that ability of your joints to have range of motion with coordination, and it looks a little like that. You see the circles, right? Things have round edges because there's a motion that's rounded, okay? Now, length, as Sabrina said earlier, is being able to lengthen the muscle tissue, and also to a little bit of degree that the tendon and the ligaments are going to be more flexible or pliable, so you will have more reach, more flexibility. So we're going to start with mobility, and then we're going to practice increasing our flexibility. So
it feels so good to feel good in your body, and to be able to move it in the ways that you want. Even if things change as you get older, you're never too old to get mobility and flexibility back.
You're never too old to do this.
So maybe they should do a side thing first as a test.
Let's do a test. All right, we'll do this together. So we'll stretch this arm. This is for us. This is our left side. We're going to stand shoulder width apart. And I don't think I'm going to run into you. We're going to take this arm up and we're going to reach over. And let's just see what kind of flexibility, length we have through our waist. Okay, you can place one hand on your hip if you want. Just notice. This is probably tight through here, might be a little bit tight through the shoulder, and a little bit tight through the hip.
Right, so you may feel it right across the top of your buttocks when you do that, depending on where you're tight.
The buttocks?
The buttocks.
The buttocks was tight. Okay, so let's now identify what do we need to open up. Well, obviously the ribs play a role, the shoulder complex plays a role, and then the hips. So we'll start with the shoulder. Let's keep this one simple. Let's reach up and turn a little bit just to open up and circle. That's it. Breathe as you do it.
Right. So try not to turn like this, because then you're not actually getting the stretch. So try to keep as much as you can the shoulders to the front, because that's how you're getting the stretch. So this would not really stretch my shoulder.
Yeah, that's stretching your spine.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got that. Let's go the other way. So do you feel that in the shoulder socket?
I always think I'm in a very narrow hallway and suddenly need to move my arm like this so that I don't do it out here, because then I'm avoiding. I'm good.
No. Drink water, because that's going to improve your level of flexibility if you stay hydrated.
All right, the second thing we're going to do now that we've worked, we're going to do the other arm.
We can do that one later. Let's come back to it, because I want to show a nice clean control.
Okay.
Okay.
So now we're going to work the ribs. Your brain has to learn how to do this one. So your brain might say, I can't do that. Your brain's wrong. You can. It just doesn't know how to send the message. So you're actually going to try to move this part of your body from side to side without moving this. Okay, so you could think that somebody's pulling this arm. Yep, now they're pulling this one.
See how her hips are staying in place? So everything from the bottom up, the ribs are moving. She's gliding from side to side.
Why are you holding me?
I was
trying
to help.
You're stronger than you know.
I guess so. I was about to lift you. Okay, you got that?
Okay, let's see you do it.
You guys remembering to breathe?
When we do that, the knees are relaxed. You don't want to lock them. Locking the knees might cause you to clench your booty.
Here's what I'm not doing. I'm not bending my legs. Yep. And I'm not moving my whole body.
Legs are equally flexed.
I'm in, Sabrina used to say, you're standing in concrete.
Yeah, like this.
Okay, so we're just mobilizing there. So what have we done? We've opened up the shoulder a little. We've opened up the ribs a little. Now let's open up the hips and the booty.
All right.
Big circles. Do you want to explain how the head goes the other way?
Yeah, so think of your spine as a stick, like a baton. And on one end of the baton is your tailbone, and on the other end is your head. And those 2 points can never meet. So if the head is forward, the butt is back. When the head is here, the hips are over here. When the hips are forward, the head is back. So you're drawing this big circle. Whereas when you were standing, if you dropped straight down between your legs, that would be the center of the circle. Right? You're from foot to foot is the diameter, and you're trying to trace that with your hips.
Okay.
You might want to put your hands, and we went both ways. Did you go both ways?
I did. I got a few adjustments also.
I usually do right there.
This one in particular feels so good. So we stretched the outer part of the hips. We got actually inside the hips, the pelvis a little. So we've opened the shoulder complex, we've opened the ribs, and we've opened the pelvis.
Okay.
Let's test again.
Now we're going to test to see if that helped our flexibility. Legs are equally bent.
Heck yeah.
It feels better.
Try the other side.
That's
Notice.
For sure.
Look how tight that side is compared to go to this side now. Isn't that crazy? That's the power of a little bit of mobility.
So we better do
first.
This, guys.
We better do the other side. And water. The hydration, we cannot overstress that.
Both ways.
I like to sometimes put my hand on the area of the joint to make sure that my mind is inside the muscles.
A little bit more ribs. If you prefer, you could keep your hands down, but you do want the shoulders to stay level, right? Like some people will pick a shoulder up. They don't know they're doing it. Shoulders stay level. Keep
breathing. Feel long, lifted through your spine.
Meow.
Get those hips again. Keep your spine long while you're doing that. It's like you're reaching out of your hips, or like a flower pot. And your spine is the stalk of the plant growing tall.
Whoop. That feels really good. Go ahead and when you bend over, know that your neck is part of the spine, so you wouldn't want to go like that, right? Let that whole piece go. The baton.
So that's the difference between mobility and flexibility, right?
Yep.
You see how they're married together. Mobility first, flexibility second. Awesome. Okay, let us know, those of you joining live, or if you're in the Facebook and you're watching the replay, did you notice a difference in your level of flexibility from just a few simple circles and a little bit of water? Now, of course, it takes a moment for the water to actually do its magic.
While you guys are responding in the chat, we wanted to share this other thing with you, which is sometimes you're tight and don't know it, or we don't know how tight we are until we're loose. But how do you know to get loose if you don't know that you're tight? Well, you actually do something that sounds crazy, but it works really well, is you go even tighter. So a really easy example of that is just to tell yourself, relax your shoulders down. Just right now, relax your shoulders down. Where are they sitting? Now we're going to pull them up, hold them up, squeeze, 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 and then drop. And they're going to go down a lot more than they were before from that tensing and letting go.
Also known as a hypertonic. Whenever you can stretch and squeeze, this is and release like you just did, you're going to see that the muscle tissue opens up more. So you can, in fact, what's so awesome about doing this is like that routine we just did with the 3 circles and then the lengthening. Do it again. Like go back and do the circles one more time with deep belly breathing and then do the flexibility test again. And you'll probably notice you get even more length.
Yep. I like what Josie says, that was crazy that in such a short amount of time that made such a difference.
Isn't that crazy?
You know, it's so a lot of it is warmth, right? The body gets warm inside very quickly when you move, getting more circulation. There was more blood. We put more blood in the muscles, which that helps with the mobility. The blood carries the water. So that's the things we all think, oh gosh, I don't have time. Like just those little itty bitty things, they really help. You know, I often during the day, because I'm very aware that as we get older, this starts to happen. We start curling in, and then I work on the computer a lot. I put my hands behind my back. I grab my thumb with the other hand and try to stretch my arms.
You going back there?
No, just right here. So I just grab and just try to stretch. That feels so good to me. Does it feel good to you?
It feels good watching.
And then you can lift up.
We have one of those cameras that tracks your face. Yes, says Susan, I feel better. Let's put a couple of things in this show here. These are really cool to read. Elise says, I already can't wait to watch this again.
So sometimes if you can find something sturdy to leverage off of when you really feel stiff, if you close a door, make sure it's very closed, and grab the doorknob and then like do the cat stretch against it so you have some leverage, like pull against me, like then you can get more stretch. Or in the car, holding the steering wheel, really pushing your back into the seat while you have the steering wheel to push against lets me get a lot more of the cat stretch than I can without that leverage. Do it when the car's not moving.
Movement is truly medicine. We're big fans of saying that. We feel younger in our 50s than we did, well, I do, than certain times in my life when I wasn't able to do certain movements. There was a time when I took for granted my youth. And I could do things just because my body would bounce back, right? I challenged myself. I pushed myself. And then I hurt myself. Well, the same is true if you don't use your body. It will eventually rebel, okay? It will say, hey, I feel old. I feel depleted. I feel stuck. I feel brittle. I feel like I'm gonna break. And you will.
Bend and snap. That's what you think.
You do not want that. You can bring fresh life back into your body by doing what we're talking about. I know this to be true because I went from a broken, brittle person to incredibly flexible. You know, I can do all the things again that I was able to do when I was a kid. I feel like I could keep up with the youngsters to some degree. And that feels great. But is it a big discipline? Not particularly. I think when you're hurting, when you feel old, when your body is beat up, that takes a lot more energy than this does. You think about how much energy it takes to drag a hurting body, stiff body through a day compared to a frisky, open, free body. You have way more energy at your disposal because you're not, I liken it to you're not driving with the brakes on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I was just had a flashback to when you were saying dragging your body. When I injured my back, trying to carry a heavy bag.
Right. That was horrible.
Which was like probably bigger than me and probably weighed what I weigh.
Probably.
And
it was 150 pounds. And what are you,
We don't talk about it.
We don't talk about it? I'm going to guess 114, but that might be heavy. I don't know. Is it?
So it was so hard to get out of bed. It was so hard to roll over.
Oh.
And I'm talking about like...
She couldn't put her pants on.
But that went on. Like I was okay during the day, but then first thing in the morning, I get out of bed and I'm trying to like put my pants on, trying to like pick one leg up or sitting on the toilet and getting up. That's a lot of people are lacking that much mobility. That simple things that should feel good. Yeah. You should be able to sit down and get up. Mm-hmm. And if there's some reason that you can't, how can we address it to make it easier? What's locked up that we can get some more juice from, right? Like we've discussed on the show, maybe you're lacking some cartilage in your knee. Okay, well, can we strengthen your hips? Can we get your hips more flexible? Like, what can we do? It's never a dead end. Right? It's never a no until it is a dead end, and then you don't need your body anyway. But there's always something that we can do. And I think that the joint mobility is so much easier. Neither of us we have done yoga. We can do yoga. We've probably both taught like yoga, stretchy. But I think that this is more friendly. It's faster, and it's actually more lifestyle beneficial. Like some of the yoga stretches, I don't really see myself doing those things in my daily life or needing to, although it's awesome. I totally support it and think it's amazing. Yeah. But something about the movement medicine and the joint mobility and moving in ways that help your body do what it needs to do so that you don't get injured is my number one.
That's so true. So there were some questions that were coming through about, will this help with other things like coordination? And I'm just putting something in a moment into the chat for you guys that's going to really help you. I wasn't thinking about this, but doing this earlier, but because what you asked, I think I will. When the body's nervous system is fighting, when it's struggling, when there's a pain in a certain area, it pulls so much of the energy or the signal from the brain to this area, right? Mm-hmm. And so now you're constantly looping in this reactive pattern. Well, now that the brain has gotten used to sending this signal, and pain really pulls attention strong, right? Oftentimes you say pain lives in the brain. It's because it's looping. Well, unfortunately, what that does is it skews the more healthy signals that the rest of the body needs. And so it creates a neurological coordination issue. So the body may have all kinds of great coordination, but now you're kind of atrophying that skill of the brain because it's so focused on this pain signal. So it starts to disrupt the healthy signals of the brain to the rest of the body. And all of a sudden we start to see other areas start to be compromised now. The coordination patterns are off. That's why it's so important to address areas of the body that are compromised or that are hurting you. Signals in the brain that are maladapting, right? So maladaptive signal is a signal that's skewed. It has a normal pattern. It just needs to be reset. So when we're talking about resetting the tissues and doing the circles and the movements and the breathing, you simultaneously need to be mindfully aware of what you're doing while you're doing it. Because if you're going like this and you're trying to push through pain, or you're constantly in that signal, your brain is going to Xerox that signal again and again and again. This is why sometimes people get a massage and it's passive, meaning they're not engaging their brain. They're laying on the table. They're like, oh my God, that feels so good. Thank you. But then the next day, the brain fires up those signals again. Boom, it goes back to the same pattern.
So they say, I have an old injury. And it's like, well, we kind of recreate it over and over.
We are Xeroxing that energy or that disorder again and again and again. Mm-hmm. So,
and you another way that you'll see that your body does it, it's crazy. If you, let's say, twist a ankle. I sprained an ankle once, like rolled over. I actually I did a chasse right off a stage when I had a Jazzercise franchise, landed on that foot. One leg was still up on the stage. Thank goodness I'm really flexible, but that ankle rolled. Sprained it. Had to, it took weeks to really use it properly again. But so I had to walk a little different. I had to dance a little different. I had to find ways that I could keep making money with an ankle that wasn't working the way that it was. Teaching dance when I couldn't really demonstrate. And what I found is I started creating like weird ways of moving that even though the ankle was getting better, I wasn't stopping them because they were my new normal. But here's the funny thing. It's almost like the brain says, well, let's make the other side like that side. And it will sometimes mirror. If one knee has a thing, the other knee will start having. If one ankle does, you'll start feeling it in the other ankle. And I think the brain is looking for symmetry, that it will replicate it.
That's true. Do you have something for that?
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool.
I can.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to?
I'm not going to do it right now. But
you don't have the time?
You can say it and I'll do it in 5 minutes.
So we're going to do something really cool. Some of you were asking if there's something that we have that can help, like with the coordination and other joints in the body. And so, like I said, we hadn't planned for this, but we're going to do something cool for you. I just found the link and I updated it for you. So it's satorimethod.com/happy joints. And we've run a special on this in the past. It's turned off right now, but we're going to turn it back on for you in a moment. So if you're catching this live, and we'll put this particular code after the show is over, but we'll give it to you.
What is it?
Whatever you want it to be. How about that? Happy Joints 2021.
Happy Joints 2021 will be a coupon code that takes 50% off that already discounted price that I think that he showed you.
I actually haven't shown you guys what it is.
Okay.
But this is a program that we created, and it's basically movement medicine, martial yoga movement medicine. Now, here's the thing about this program. I want to tell you going into it. It's got some really, really awesome bonuses that make it worth the value. And we're going to give you, are we going to do what I think you're going to do?
What?
50?
Yeah.
We're going to give you 50% off. So if you don't have this program, you want to grab this. So movement medicine.
Just for a week.
It's got 3 routines in it for all the joints in the body. It has a routine that you can do standing. I think this is it's a great routine for just about everybody who's comfortable standing, doing a lot of mobility exercise. Now, I filmed this when I was in a little bit of a younger body, but I can still do everything in this program because of this program. So it's very effective. There's another sequence that's done on the ground on your back. That's a good one to start with for somebody who might be in a lot of pain. I had to start on my back when I had my back injury. I had to start doing this on the floor. I will tell you there are some movements in this program that won't be for you unless you're already somewhat athletic. So you just skip those. And then there's another routine that's done sitting, which is also really effective. Now, it comes with a complete foam roller training, which is fantastic. This is a foam roller.
Those of you in the chat, if you have this, you can share what it's like.
You get that as a bonus, and it goes through all the muscles, and it helps strip out adhesions and old reactive patterns in the tissues. It marries perfectly with movement medicine. Okay, so you get that, and it has a type of internal meditation breathing we call the sound breath work, and it's guided, and it's what helps you to remove pain signals from the brain to the body. There's sounds that you're listening to. There's a breath work. You're trained into doing this breath, and then you take that you learn listening and you do it while you're doing the moves. So it helps heal you as you're drifting off into sleep, and it helps you to incorporate that sound breathing better into your movement. So it's a really awesome package, and Sabrina has just turned on the coupon, so I'm going to show you on the screen what the coupon. She's about to turn on this coupon for you.
I'm really fast, but.
And the coupon is Happy Joints 2021.
Oh, I didn't do 2021. Okay.
You'll add that back in. There is your coupon code. Okay, so you've got to use that. So you go to satorimethod.com/happy joints and you add Happy Joints 2021. It gives you 50% off. Cool?
Joints with an S?
Yes.
Look at this. We're just creating stuff right here.
For those of you who are content creators, course creators, you can do things on the fly too.
You want to see if it works? We'll show them where to put it on the page.
All right, we're going to do one last thing before we go. We're going to do our best anyway. Let's see if...
I don't even have my regular computer here.
Hey, look, we're over here too. All right, so let's put this right there. We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff here. So you click this button here, and it skips you down to where the payment area is.
Oh, so it's $197. This was the sales page for $147. And when we put the coupon code in, Happy Joints, 2021.
We're hoping it works. So you go here into the checkout and you put in Happy Joints. You don't have to put the capitals, 2021, and then you hit boom, and there
yes, I did it. I did it under pressure. I created a coupon under pressure.
Okay, that's how you get 50% off.
That was intense, actually.
All right, I'm going to take these off the screen. We're going to dance it out. Thanks for joining today. We appreciate all the great questions. And we've got more fun trainings coming your way. You know, the Trisbrina Show got an upgrade. If you are tuning in later, it's now the Trisbrina Wellness Show. So we're going to continue to bring you all kinds of awesome techniques and movements and trainings and mindset and meditations so you can age gracefully, you can turn back the clock, and you can be a rock star in your own right. Sound good?
Yep.
Thank you, Ron. He says all the programs are great. The training is the very best.
Kathy.
Thank you.
Kathy wonders where the Trisbrina Show song was.
Which one? The Trisbrina Show. We can't find
on a Thursday.
We can't find the track.
I have it.
Oh, maybe we'll bring that one back. This one's very swanky.
And if you are interested in growing a business, taking something that you love, being a teacher, definitely check out our other new show, Marketing Mindset and Flood. You can find out all about it going to satori.com/showbiz.
Right there, baby.
Showbiz.
Look at that under pressure.
To kick it off, we've been doing very lengthy, like every single episode is something we sell for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah,
we might. There may be a full plan for that. So, but it is so much to get you started. We've taught you how to go live, what to do before you go live, while you're live, after you go live, how to do intros at the beginning of your videos, how to start so you're not boring, feel stupid, and then how to write a name of your post.
Look at my amazing wife. Isn't she awesome? You're the best. You just do whatever, you show up, you shine, you teach, you make coupon codes, you teach marketing. You're awesome.
I do stuff. And now we are actually going to a famous Austin restaurant. It's in Driftwood.
Let's see if you think anyone can guess the name.
Well,
here, we'll do it like this. Watch. It tastes like salt.
What? He does not know how to do charades. My gosh, you just gave the answer, don't you?
No, I didn't.
You would go.
I said,
and then we go.
Said, tastes
moo.
Like moo.
Moo.
What does moo have to do with it?
That's who. What do you think licks the salt?
But that's not the name of the place.
Yeah, it is.
The moo lick.
The salt lick. We're going to this.
Debbie got it. Why are you making a moo?
Because the cows. A salt lick is this thing of you don't know.
Oh yeah, I know. The cows lick the thing.
Yes.
Oh, so you.
Lick.
Oh, that's how. I'm definitely not good at charades.
Anyway, it's the original one. It's like out in the country. You just drive.
See, confused Bonnie. Us Californians, we think it's a cow lick.
A cow lick.
Like in your hair.
Anyway, we probably won't eat there because it's not food that we eat.
We don't eat the cows.
It's a little business.
We lick the cows, but we don't eat them. You're a cute cow.
I'd be more likely to lick the cow than eat him.
All right. We're out. Peace up, love, and granola.